You can't do anything quick.
Good morning, football fans. We are here to give you our Week 6 picks as we do every single week. And this is the week. I feel it. Undefeated for my picks, not for these guys' picks. I'm the NFLMike, joined with the J and the T and MJT Football. Back again to give you our picks, as I said in the intro. We're not going to waste any time. If you guys want to join the PICKEMS challenge yourself and send in your picks, compete against me, Joe, Tony, and a bunch of other people, link in the description for the Week 6 PICKEMS challenge. There's limited space in it, so go and get your spot before it's too late. Thursdays is usually when they start to fill up really quickly. Joe Morley, Raiders won. Are you happy? You excited?
Am I happy about what? This
the Raiders
week?
Victory?
I'm happy about, come on, 2-3, baby. 2-3. 2-3. Of course we're happy about our victory. Raiders going on a roll right now.
3-2. 3-2, right, Tony?
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna join into the chanting of whatever's going on there. I will say you two are very lucky that the Raiders won, or you guys are gonna have to be digging out of a huge hole because your boy was about to bury you if Jordan Love could have just come through at any point in that game.
He had like 3 chances, but relax there, Tony. It would only been a 2-game difference. Let's not act like you had a chance to go up 20. Let's not act like you're the Arizona Diamondbacks or some shit all of a sudden.
I would have been up 3 games on you and like 5 games on Joe.
I guess, yeah, the split here because I would have had another loss, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about early season bullshit, Tony. I'm coming back and I'm coming back hard. You're like the Dallas Cowboys. You start off strong and then you get smacked around, Tony. You ain't nothing good. You ain't nothing to brag about right now. But let me tell you something. I will always root for my team, Mike. One time I went to the Raider game. They were 0-10 going into that, or 0-10 or 0-11. I forget which one it was. Going into Thursday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, Derek Carr's rookie year, and we won that game. And I was going, yeah, we won 1-10 or 1-11. And I don't give a damn. If your team gets a win in the regular season, it's a great day.
Hey, is that the season they fired Dennis Allen after 4 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully for the Raiders too, because
and I think they buried a football, right? It was a weird ass season. Anyways,
James Jones references that season a lot as the worst year of his professional career.
Who?
I'll tell you what I definitely don't want to talk about and what the chat definitely doesn't want to hear about, and that's Raiders history. So let's talk about the games here. All right, let's talk about the games, starting with the blowouts. And we labeled them here so we could try and be a little bit time efficient. So we're going to go over the blowouts in a rapid fire.
Semi-rapid fire.
I lost my train of thought. Semi-rapid fire. We're not doing it like just pick, but we are going to talk about them just a little bit. Starting with the 49ers on the road in Cleveland. 49ers last week just smoked the Dallas Cowboys. We thought the Cowboys were on the tier in the echelon of the 49ers, or when I say we, I mean me. Turn the W upside down, and it's just me thinking that with the Cowboys. But clearly that wasn't the case. 49ers make it look easy. Tony, I know you're a big Cleveland stan. You will stand 10 toes on some Cleveland support. You think they get blown out like I think they will?
No, I don't. I think the game's actually going to be really close. And this is not one where I would pick the spread. On the road after a super emotional game like they just played in, I know that they're like tough and well coached and everything, but the Browns defense is really good. And if you go back and check out the Ravens-Browns game from the week before, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson isn't giving the Ravens short fields a couple of times, like the defense is able to keep them in it. And I think this is kind of a chance for the Browns defense to announce that they are real. And if they can get adequate quarterback play, they can keep it close. But in the end, Brock Peasy is going to pull it off. It's going to happen.
We're kind of
for Brock. You got a new name for Brock Purdy. Come on.
Yeah.
Brock Peasy. Jesus. Anyways, Brock Peasy. You do have a QB mismatch here, I think, regardless of who it is, whether it's DTR or PJ Walker. I think that this 49ers D-line is going to stress them out. They don't really have Nick Chubb to lean on in the rushing attack to kind of go toe-to-toe with that 49ers front seven. That's why I think it's going to be a blowout, and I put it in this category. But I see your points, Tony, about the Browns defense. They've been balling this year. All right, everyone that's tuned in on TikTok, everyone that's tuned in on Joe's TikTok, come to the MJT Football YouTube channel and watch our picks. We're giving them for every single game this week. Please come over. Joe, I saw a spoiler on this, so just take it away. Go ahead and say what your thoughts are on this game. Piss everyone off while you do it.
I don't understand why you put this game, the 49ers and the Browns, in the blowout section. It's not going to be a blowout. Have you not watched the Browns game? Have you not seen the Browns defense and what they've been able to do? This is the number one defense in the NFL. You could talk about the Niners. You could talk about the Cowboys. You could talk about all these other defenses. But the Cleveland Browns are number one in yards allowed, number two in points against them. And they're number one against the pass, and they're number 5 or number 4, something like that, against the run. And you're going to come in here and play this team. Look, I don't give a damn who you said. You said, and Tony mentioned it earlier. The Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers were built up. It was a big game. 49ers won that game easily because the Dallas Cowboys realized early, hey, Dak is still the same old Dak, right? And the 49ers, but they came out, they put so much emotion into that game, and you've seen it. You've seen it in teams before. They have a big game the week before, and then what? They let it down. They drop all the way down. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen this week, but everybody's talking about, you've seen it. They're pulling up the Niners schedule. They're saying, when are the Niners going to lose? There's no way the Niners even lose the rest of the games this season. They're going undefeated. It's going to get in the Niners' head. They're going to get that big head. The Browns have had a week. You're giving Jim Schwartz a whole 2 weeks to get ready for this Niner team. Oh, he's prepared for it. And the Browns, without Deshaun Watson, and you said, Joe, how's PJ Walker? How is PJ Walker going to go beat the 49ers? Well, guess what PJ Walker did last year? He went and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. And you think he can't go and beat Brock Purdy this weekend as the Cleveland Browns upset the San Francisco 49ers this week?
So two quick things real quick. Brock Purdy also, in his first ever start in the NFL, beat Tom Brady. But the more important relevant stat is the 49ers have a 99+ point differential this year. Like, they're averaging winning games by 20 points. And I feel like that's why everybody is like, this game's going to be a blowout. But I don't think they've played a defense this good.
No, they haven't. Everybody, and look, Tony, you come on. You already know. You've seen it way too many times before that teams have that letdown week. This is that letdown week.
I mean, yeah, if the 49ers have a letdown week, then that would bring this out of the blowout category. But who would you say has a better offense right now? The Baltimore Ravens or San Francisco 49ers?
The
49ers. Right now, the 49ers offense is playing way better.
Yes, it is. The Ravens offense isn't playing bad. They just can't catch. Like, I know that those things sound like it's bad, but like, they're good.
Let's move to the defensive side of the ball now. Who do you think has a better defense that's playing better right now, the 49ers or the Baltimore Ravens?
The Baltimore Ravens,
I'm just saying, I think it's the 49ers too.
Yeah, the 49ers are better across the board at everything. Like, they're the best team in the league right now.
Baltimore just blew Cleveland out. That was their last game.
But you got to watch. It wasn't as bad as the score looked, though.
It still was a blowout, though. That's the point.
Yeah, but you're talking about a division game, Mike. You're talking about
lose. If the Browns hang in the division game, if the Browns hang in this game into the third quarter and it's 17-10, and then the 49ers score another 17 and then win 34-10, it's a blowout. Even though the score didn't suggest that this game was close into the third quarter. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about an actual blowout and what Tua is going to...
Miami. Welcome to Miami. What do you think about the Panthers here? Getting blown out? Go ahead, Tony.
Yes, Harrison, you guys are getting steamrolled in this game. And this one I don't feel like is going to be close. I don't really see any way. Like, if the Lions were able to do what they were able to do, this, even without Devon Achane, the speed is can't be matched, can't be taken care of. No amount of Frankie Louvu, one of my favorite players in the NFL, is going to be able to slow down what the Dolphins are doing. And this game to me is where, like, Tyreek Hill, I want him to have one of those games where people could finally like unequivocally go, oh, this guy's the MVP. Because even when I hear the major storylines being talked about, there's just not enough Tyreek Hill and what he does for this offense. So I want another like 200-yard, 2-touchdown game. Maybe even one of them is like an end around to Tyreek Hill, or they line him up in the backfield and give him a Devon A-chain play where they run in motion Jalen Waddle and everybody goes with that, and then Tyreek Hill houses one from like 68 yards out.
I'm here for it. Go check out our MVP conversation we had right here on the MJT Football YouTube channel. It just dropped yesterday. It's on the page. But yeah, Tony, I'm with you. And you also look at the fact here. You have the best offense in the league that's rocking right now. They're absolutely electric, seem unstoppable. Going against a team that's really struggled offensively with turnovers, struggled to put points up on the board. It just seems like the stars are aligned here for a blowout. Joe, are you thinking the Panthers can stay in this game?
No way the Panthers stay in this game. It's a big blowout. I don't know. Do the Miami Dolphins go for that 70-point game again this week? I don't know. They're going to put up some points. I just hope Tyreek Hill and Mostert go ahead and put up those points because I got them on my fantasy team and I need them to go off again because I'm averaging 200 points a week in that league. So just domination. So if anybody is going against me in that league, I feel sorry for you because I'm going to put up numbers again this week. But Carolina is building. You knew it was going to be a bad year. You knew they were going to have to get everything going. They just this Miami offense is just too good. A-Chain won't be playing. He's out for a couple of weeks, so that's one good thing. But does Jeff Wilson make his return this week? Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
There's a chance. Harrison's looking on the bright side here for the Panthers. If you switch that 0-6 around at the 6-0, just gotta look at it a little differently. You know?
Tell you who does like it. The Bears like when the Panthers lose.
Twist your head a little bit. Anyways, Rams Cardinals, and this one's one that might be a little bit surprising to have in this blowout section, but the Cardinals have kind of cooled off from what they were doing in the first couple weeks of the season. Joe, I'll let you go first on this one. This may not be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a blowout. That's why I made it into this category. But are you taking Rams or Cardinals?
I forget who I took in this game, but I think I took the Rams, so I'll take the Rams. But I don't. Yeah. The Cardinals have kind of surprised us a little bit this year, right? They've kind of hung around in some of the games. We thought they were going to be a little bit worse than they are, but then again, we thought the Rams were going to be bad, Mike. We got to apologize to Rams fans out there because they've been a little bit better than we expected. But this is the division matchup, so I don't know how you could put a division matchup in blowout section. Like two divisional games that the players that know each other. It's going to be a tough matchup. I think it's going to be decided by maybe a last-second field goal or something in the fourth quarter, that big play. But I'm taking the Rams to win this game.
Watch every Chiefs versus Raiders game. You'll know how I can put a divisional matchup in a blowout section. But go ahead, Tony.
So I think that, Joe, there is some credence to that when there's established culture, even if it's bad culture. But the Cardinals are with Gannon now, and it's trending in a positive direction. I sent you guys this long text message that the Cardinals were up 14-10. They get the ball back with 7 minutes and 37 seconds left, and they go 3 and out. Then the Bengals drive, waste all this time. They get a stop at 4th and goal, and it's like, oh, man, the Cardinals can compete and they can play, and then they throw a pick six. Like, what the Cardinals are doing is very impressive, how they're able to hang in with these teams, to me, that are clearly better and, like, better coached and everything. I could see this game being really close, and then the blowout comes late. As soon as it has to go like Josh Dobbs, we need you to engineer a long drive. That's when the pressure starts to kick in. Raheem Morris can dial up a couple of extra pressures, maybe find a way to get Aaron Donald free on some sort of stunt up front, and that's when it goes downhill. But I think overall this game is pretty competitive and fun to watch for about 3.5 quarters.
I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm just thinking that eventually this Rams offense is going to catch fire this week, whether it's in the second, third, or fourth quarter. Cooper Kupp, second week back. Puka Nacua is still rocking last week. Matthew Stafford looks as good as ever. I'm going with the Rams also. So clean sweep on the Rams. All right. Jets, Philly. Any chance, Tony, that this Jets defense is good enough to hold the Jets in this game?
No, this one should have been at the top of blowouts. So we always talk about the styles make fights. It's a cliche that everybody uses. So in this particular fight here, what's the weakness you want to attack with the Eagles? The secondary. What can't the Jets do? Throw the ball at all, anywhere, behind the line of scrimmage, down the field, whatever. Like, watching the Jets play against the Broncos is extremely frustrating. And I know that the Jets got the win, so people were still patting Zach on the back. They need to make a trade for quarterback. They need to beg Kirk Cousins to waive the no trade clause and come to New York as early as 5 minutes ago. On the other side, the Eagles, what do they do really well? Pretty much everything. And they can run the football dynamically, which is what the Jets struggle with the most. I think this is one where they go big. They go to some 12 personnel. They probably don't even need that. And DeAndre Swift has a big game. And then when they can't do that, they find ways to get Dallas Goedert over the middle of the field, Devonta Smith against second corners or whatever. Like, the Jets really won that game because of the Hall of Fame. Brees and Bryce Hall. Like, those two guys scored touchdowns in that game. Otherwise, it was a bunch of, like, red zone failure field goals for the Jets.
Joe, any love for Jet Life? I believe I have this wrong. I think this is actually in New York. I might be mistaken here.
I don't care where it is. They lost Elijah Vera Tucker too. I forgot to say that. That's bad news for them. Bad.
Is Tim Boyle ready to play this weekend? Because I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to be able to make it out of this game. That defensive line from the Eagles is going to eat. You want to see Jalen Carter, and you already know how he's doing. Wait till this weekend when Jalen Carter has like 2 or 3 sacks and he's just laying on top of people. This is going to be an ugly, ugly game. If you have anybody in the Philadelphia and you want to play them in fantasy football, you play them. And I wouldn't start any Jets. Like, people are asking, should I still start Breece Hall? Hell no. Don't start anybody. Normally we would say garbage time is good time points, but this, I don't know if the Jets even get this should be a shutout. This should be a shutout.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance. I do. I'm going with Philly as well. All right, let's go on to the primetime games. Tonight's game. The Denver Broncos are going to Kansas City. I know this one is correct. I heard some news from Harrison that Tay-Tay is going to the game. The Chiefs are undefeated with Tay-Tay. Also, the Broncos have to play against the refs. We talked about that all week this week. Who do you got in this one, Tony? I'm assuming you're probably leaning KC. It's a divisional game, like Joe's saying. Anything can happen?
No, it can't. It can't. It's like watching the Broncos play is also very frustrating too. And I get why Sean Payton is losing his mind over there. I do think that Wilson's been better, but the Chiefs defense is going to be able to get pressure. They're going to be able to cover downfield, which isn't great for them offensively. And then defensively, like, I think this is the game where we get to see a breakout from one of these wide receivers. Like, who's ever not being covered by Pat Surtain, whether it's Rashee Rice over the middle of the field, ending up with some like 10 catches, 90 yards and a touchdown, or Jordan, that's crazy. Yeah. Or we see Sky Moore finally getting loose downfield and making some big plays. Some receiver is going to be on the map and being talked about a lot after this game.
Well, down in my notes, the Broncos haven't beat the Raiders or Chiefs in like 10 years. Like, what the hell are all these streaks that I keep seeing pop up?
That's what I was going to say. The only team the Broncos can beat in the AFC West is the Chargers. That's it. That's the only team.
Our backups. Hey, they can beat our backups. Make sure you add that.
This game right here, Tony, Taylor Swift going to be in the house. I'm so excited. Can't do it. No, nobody cares about Taylor Swift being there. But look, the Chiefs are kind of banged up, right? Travis Kelce, you saw him go out last week. He came back in the game. Wonder how good that ankle is feeling this coming in on the short week. I think this game might be a little bit closer. The Chiefs have benefited from referee calls the last 2 weeks, right? So let's just put that out there. The referees are going to help the Kansas City Chiefs out. You've seen the Chiefs offense not be that good. We saw Zach Wilson and the New York Jets drive up and down on this Chiefs defense, Tony. So don't expect Russell Wilson to just lay out there with his team. The only reason I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, but the only reason is because I don't trust that Broncos defense enough, and I think Kansas City's defense is disciplined enough to make the big play when they need to. But I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than we expect it to be.
Yeah, Pop Chaco is going to have a $150 and 2 touchdowns.
The Chiefs have played some games surprisingly close this year, so it's not like they haven't played a close game with like New York, a team that is kind of opposite, where their defense is really good, the offense sucked. Here we are, where I think the Denver offense has improved from last year at least, and the defense is just absolutely horrible. But yeah, I'm going with KC also. I wanted to break some news here on the MJT Football YouTube channel. So if you're tuned in to TikTok, come to MJT Football. And if you're tuned in on MJT Football, tonight I'll be hosting a special live stream where I'll be fact-checking the refs the entire live. Every call that is made for the game, I will be watching it back and breaking it down to make sure that these calls are correct. And if they aren't correct, we'll be calling out the NFL, and I might make some calls to the stadium myself to make something happen about it. But breaking news comes out live tonight if you guys didn't know about it.
I'm very tempted to change my pick tonight, and I don't know if I will, but I'm very tempted to.
Do it right now, Joe.
Yeah.
Scream it from the mountaintops.
I would, Joe, if I were you, I would take the Broncos.
You got a solo shot. You're in last place. You need to come back. Do it, Joe. Do it. It's Patrick Mahomes.
I'm cheering for the Broncos tonight. Like I'm legit
100%
cheering for the Broncos to win.
Broncos win, Chargers win. Chargers are in first place.
What?
It's true. It's damn true. All right, I'll let you simmer on it, Joe. I'll let you think about it. All right, if you change your mind, we need this pick change on the air.
Somebody change my mind in the chat. Somebody change my mind in the chat. Maybe you can get me going to the Broncos today.
Wait, put that comment back up there. Jordan has the Broncos winning by 15. Are you kidding me? Jordan of the Darkness is a reliable source on NFL blowouts.
That is true.
Yeah. I think
the problem is the Broncos have the worst defense. Like, how do they go to the worst defense in the league? Like, that's crazy.
He doesn't have them winning by 15. He's saying they haven't won in 15 games.
Oh, I misread the comment.
Big difference. But Joe, let us know if you change your pick so I can clip that Browns and the Broncos take together. Two orange, gross-looking teams. Here we go. The Giants are playing the Bills on Sunday Night Football. This belongs in the blowout category, in my opinion. Giants going the complete opposite direction of the way they want to. Daniel Jones is like up in the air whether he's going to play or not. I saw a report that he's training towards playing, which shocks me because didn't he have like a neck injury or something last week? Aren't they like one of the worst offensive lines in the history of fucking football through 5 weeks? Like, why are you going to send him out there to just get destroyed by the Bills, who have a lot of injuries themselves? But I still think that they're going to get after him if he's out there. If it's not him, it's Tyrod Taylor, and they're relying a lot on Saquon to carry the offense if he's healthy and able to go. Tony, this could be an ugly Sunday Night Football game that the NFL, wanted to obviously do like a New York rivalry here.
Yeah, so I think we have another game in a couple of weeks with the Giants in prime time before they can actually flex things out. The Giants situation is really bad because, again, people should rewatch the game last week. The Giants defense played pretty good, like picked off Tua a couple times in that game and was trying to make a stand. The offense can't do anything. They can't drive the ball. They can't get lucky. They can't create big plays because they have no time because the offensive line is just getting smashed. It's really bad. And Saquon Barkley is still questionable to come back. They really need him. They really need to get him as an explosive playmaker. I think the Bills regroup after that loss, and this probably should have been in the blowout category. Like, I know it's a primetime game, but this should have been up there right below Eagles-Jets for me.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that one. Joe, any love for the Giants here?
Well, no, absolutely not. Buffalo Bills have to come out pissed off about last week's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're blaming it on the field. They're blaming it on all kinds of stuff in London, but they're going to come out pissed off, and why not go against this? It's Tyrod Taylor season, Tony, right? Tyrod Taylor. Bills have a lot of injuries on defense, and you guys saw it like last week where you got to see how this defense with some of these new guys are going to be able to go. But the defensive line for the Bills is dominant right now. And that's what's going. If you look at some of the top teams like the Bills right now, the defensive lines on these teams are amazing. So I think I don't care who's playing quarterback for the New York Football Giants. That offense is horrible. The defense is the only thing that's keeping them alive, but they're not going to be able to contain Josh Allen enough. And Diggs might come out for another 3 touchdowns. He was a little pissed off at the end of last week's game and threw his helmet. So there we go. I think another big game by Josh Allen and Diggs over the New York Giants.
I personally think that the Giants just use these couple weeks, probably without Daniel Jones, or even if he is out there, to get Saquon back out there, show the league that he's healthy, and trade him. Figure out how you can get him to a point where you can get at least a pick of some sort for him.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. If you're not going to sign him, I would be trying to get some resources back for that. The Bills also lost Daquan Jones, I think, the defensive lineman, another huge loss for them. I didn't even realize that when I was watching the game that he went out. So they're just the Bills are hurting, but they have enough to win this one.
A lot of depth. Yeah.
Joe, Alex is calling for Kelsey to re-injure his foot, which stalls the Chiefs offense, leading to a Broncos victory.
Yeah, I don't call for injuries, so I'm still debating.
That's not a good enough one for you. How about this one, Joe? Kyle, Sean Payton is 5-1 lifetime against Andy Reid. That's a good stat for you to lean on, Joe.
Huh?
That's a good stat for you to lean on.
I'm still debating. I'll see. I'm still thinking about it.
Kyle Cundiff coming with some heat in this one. He's got a great Von Miller comment at the bottom before we move to the next game here. This is a spicy take right here, because if you told me he was going to have 5 sacks, even just 4 sacks, I might take Von Miller.
Yeah. 3 points is right where you're going to draw that line.
Yeah, like 3.5 points for the Giants. 4 sacks for Von Miller. Let's go.
Instant replays using your picks for his work pool this week.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Guess he wants to lose. Guess he doesn't want to win that pool.
You want to be in first place, but you don't want to have the pressure of first place? Come on, pole sitter.
No, I want to cruise to victory. I want to be able to put the trophy that as soon as I win, there's going to be a trophy for the PICKEMS created just so that it could be where it belongs, right here. The smartest man on the show.
I believe Joe won last year and I won the year before that. Just for the record, everyone that's tuned in. All right, let's go on to Monday Night Football here. Joe, I need your opinion on this Cowboys-Chargers matchup. I'm trying to be there in attendance. I'm actually like 90% sure I'm going to be able to go. So I'm just going to let everyone know, Chargers this year, undefeated with NFLMike in the stadium. It's only 1-0, but it's still undefeated.
Hey, where the hell are all the Cowboy fans this week? Like, God damn, they disappeared quickly. I just saw one guy go, you know what? We realized early in the season that we suck and we no longer have any hope for the rest of the season. Like, you lost to the 49ers, who are a hot team right now. Like you have no hope that they could change it around. They said Mike McCarthy has been in the office all week, putting in 20 hours a day, hasn't gone home all week, telling his assistant coaches, we need to get the offense fixed. Well, Mike McCarthy, I got bad news for you. You're running into Kellen Moore, your offensive coordinator that you let go. And I think he has a little bit of beef with you. And you're going to tell me that Kellen Moore has 2 weeks. He had 2 weeks to prepare for a team that he knows every fucking thing about. He knows Dak's weaknesses. He knows the defensive weaknesses. He should know what Dan Quinn's calling. He knows everything about the Dallas Cowboys. So if the Chargers don't come out here and blow the Dallas Cowboys out, then you need to fire everybody. Bye, Staley. Bye, Kellen Moore. You have 2 weeks to prepare for a team that, one, just got their ass kicked last week, coming in reeling, and you know everything about. Kellen Moore shouldn't use all that damn knowledge this week. And I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm taking the Chargers to win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. And I think what Cowboys fans are so bummed about is not that the team's not good, because they're still probably going to make the playoffs. They're still probably going to be maybe the top wild card team, maybe the 6th seed. I don't know. But they just realize what that Niners game signals to them. They're on path to just go down the same as every other year. The last couple of years where they get to the playoffs, they have that hope. But now they're kind of just like, that hope's lost before we even get to the playoffs.
But I thought that's what Cowboy fans always wanted, right? I thought that's what they always brag about is we make the playoffs. Hey, we made the playoffs. Yeah, but when you make the playoffs, you don't do shit with it anyways.
I think this is a critical game for the Cowboys, because if they don't win, which I don't think that they will, I think the wheels really fall off. Like, the amount of conversations that are being had after one game teams get beat all the time, and then you find ways to learn from it and rebound. That's what great teams do and great organizations do. And that's kind of like always been the knock on the Cowboys. Like the owner doing interviews and radio shows every week just doesn't seem good. And now you have your star player doing a podcast where he's talking shit about like, oh, we got something for him the next time we see him. It's like, dude, you have to make the playoffs for that to even be a chance. Like, you might not be on the 49ers schedule for a couple of years. I don't know how the divisional stuff breaks down, but if the Niners are first and the Eagles are first, that's going to be the matchup that we see again next year as the, like the out of conference rematch, rivalry, whatever crap they do. So like, you got CeeDee Lamb, who's extremely frustrated. Like they're only using him in the slot. And then the Mike McCarthy is out here in these internet streets talking about how we don't want to score points. We're a defensive football team. Bro, what are you talking about? Like, you have to score. The league is built offensively. Like, this isn't the 90s where you can just be like, well, we're going to hold every team to like 10 or 11 points. The quarterbacks and some of these teams are just too talented for that to be the case all year long. Like, you have to score. And as far as the Chargers are concerned, everything should be going in their favor, and they should just smash them in the mouth, come out running the ball super heavy at this team. Like, just lean on them. Allow the bumps and bruises that didn't heal from them getting whooped by the 49ers to be like, oh, we can't do this again. This offensive line is strong. We can't get there. Yeah. Eckler's back and healthy, and just smashing them. As soon as they're like, okay, let's commit to stopping him. Boom, play action. Herbert over the top. Palmer, Keenan, Everett in this game. Big win for the Chargers. I love it.
It really is perfect. It is perfectly aligned for the Chargers when you look at the matchups across the board. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about them getting it going on the ground against us, but the Chargers have been solid against the run this year. So the one part where they might kind of have an advantage, the Chargers are able to be stout at. I don't know where the Cowboys are really going to take over this game. If anything, it's going to be really close.
If 97-3 are on the field, and then Eric Kendricks is back, had a bye week last week, and they put Dean Marlowe in over JT Woods to come in, and he was better against the run. He's a veteran, better tackler. Like, they should be able to not shut down the Cowboys' run, because the Cowboys have a good offensive line that's pretty healthy and playing well. So they should be able to have success, but it shouldn't be dominating.
Well, last week was the first week that offensive line played together, and then a couple of them left the game. So that was interesting for the Cowboys. But this is what I didn't get from the Cowboys game last week is you put Micah Parsons on Trent Williams all game. Like, don't you want to move your best defensive player around and get him off the best offensive tackle? Like, okay, let's just line up against Slater all day this week. Like, it makes no damn sense. Move him around, do some stuff. I know Parsons is injured, hurting a little bit, but god damn.
Well, they're talking about Parsons off the ball because of
the
Van Der Esch injury.
They were saying that they're going to move him into that spot a lot in certain situations in this game, which is great. He's a phenomenal player. He makes a lot of great plays, but I think that takes away his greatest strength. Putting him in the middle of the field.
Herbert will be checking to pass every time that he sees him lined up off the ball, and it looks like even if he has to have that, even if he has to have that extra 5-yard drop, like to rush the passer, that's an extra 1.5 seconds that it's going to take. That he's going to be like, okay, Pipkins can hold up against whoever and give me 2.5 seconds to get the pass off.
Sorry, 90. Whoever is DeMarcus Lawrence. But...
No. I'm saying if DeMarcus Lawrence is on Slater, we feel good about that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying who's ever on, if Parsons is off ball, I don't even know. Is it who, like Sam Williams, or I don't even know who their third edge rusher would be in this situation.
Could be Randy Gregory.
Yep.
I mean, them all though. But
yeah.
Anyways,
but I don't know. I don't know if Cowboy fans can make it through another team. What if the Chargers come out and put up another 40 points on this Cowboy team? Like, how are they? Like, we need to get therapists and like mental health analysts on site for this game for all these Cowboy fans, because this is going to be a big blow. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboy fans, because Cowboy fans are going to take over SoFi Stadium. They travel well. They're going to be there. I would not be surprised after the game they're walking out, taking off all their Cowboy stuff and burning it in the parking lot and maybe throwing on Niner gear on their way to the car. Just saying.
Don't worry. I'm going to definitely have some videos to send to you, Joe, of Cowboys fans that you can use. But anyways, yeah, I'm going Chargers. Joe's going Chargers. Tony's going Chargers. Clean sweep for the Chargers in SoFi this week. All right, Chargers, let's do it. It's starting to look like also that Dallas defense, that Trevon Diggs was a bigger deal than we all thought. I mean, they're getting ravished with injuries in the secondary in general, but it seems like the second that guy went down, they lost the juice on defense. All right, ready to move on to the next one here? And I want to know your opinion on this one, Tony, because you kind of defended both of these teams. Washington's been a roller coaster ride this year. There's times where their offense looks unstoppable and their defense looks legit. The front seven takes over the way that we expect them to. And then there's times that they're the complete opposite on both sides of the ball. Atlanta has been pretty consistently good and surprisingly good on defense. They pulled out that clutch win last week against the Houston Texans. What's your thoughts on this game, Tony? Falcons, Commanders.
I don't know why it's surprising, Mike. I told you in the offseason that the defense was going to be improved. Now, it's not great, but it's better. I think this game has, and I'm glad you put it in the fun matchup category, two of the most exciting players to watch play football. The first one, obvious, Bijan Robinson. The catches he's making and the things he's doing are out of control. The second player in this game, not so obvious, but it is going to become very evident, and that's Samuel F. Howell. This guy is out there running around like a crazy person. He's going to do one of these spin moves and end up like digesting a shoulder pad for a week because he's just in the pocket, like spinning around. At some point, he's going to spin the wrong way and somebody's going to decleat this dude. But until that happens, it's so much fun because it's like he just never gives up and he's just whirling dervish back there. And then the ball comes firing out. I really enjoy watching him play. Now, it's not always super successful, but it's entertaining. And that's really all I care about when I watch a game. It's like, are you going to do it? On the other side, like Ritter had his best game as a pro last week. And when I was watching it, I was like, finally, they are doing the stuff that they need to do, which is a ton of rollouts and boots, easy, quick, like slant reads over the middle, or like getting their athletes on some more like seam type stuff. Like Kyle Pitts, we got to jinx this guy every week. Last week on the fantasy show, we were like, he's unplayable. Nobody should drop Kyle Pitts. Had his best game in like a year and a half, it felt like. So I'm excited to watch this one. I won't watch it live, but it'll be one of the first games that I tune into most likely on Monday morning.
Joe, what you got for this one?
I went back and forth on this game. I don't like the Atlanta Falcons as much as Tony does. I'm not buying into them. I've seen a couple of their games where I thought the opponents lost the game to themselves more than the Atlanta Falcons actually beating them. But the bad taste in my mouth with the Washington Commanders after what happened last week against the Chicago Bears when they just got their ass handed to them by Justin Fields and a struggling team, I just can't do it. I can't just be like, yeah, Washington's bouncing back. I don't give a damn if you gave them 10 days or 20 days to prepare for this game. There's no way I was going to pick the Washington Commanders after what I saw and the letdown that I saw last week in that game. Ron Rivera, I think your days are numbered, homie.
They tried to come back. They put a good effort on the comeback, but it just wasn't there. And that's why I'm going with Atlanta as well. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Washington. You tell me I get the second half versus Denver Washington team, I'm in. Give me the Commanders. When is that team going to show up? They could, and then they'll beat the Falcons. But we'll see.
Yeah, they have the ability to be electric, but then there's also times where there's just a power outage. And it's like, hey, we're running on solar, and it's a cloudy day. We got shit to do.
Ready to go. All right, Joe, let's talk about this game. The Vikings were the team that you loved last year, right? And then the Bears are a team that you morally support, that you want Justin Fields to succeed because you liked him coming out of the draft. What's your thoughts on this game here? Both teams reeling. Both teams, in the running for the first overall pick in the draft next year. It's surprising to me still, but what do you think about this game, Joe?
Yeah, as of right now, if the season ended today, the Chicago Bears would have the number 1 and number 2 pick, and then the Vikings would have the number 4. So, this has draft pick implications going on it for it. Minnesota without Justin Jefferson for a couple weeks. We got to see how their offense adjusts to that. But I think they have enough wide receivers to be okay. Now, Justin Fields is somebody I really like. This should be a game that Justin Fields runs, right? That we see the old Justin Fields take off. He's going to get blitzed a ton. Minnesota blitzed more than anybody else in this league. And so you have to take off. Is he going to? Or is he going to be that robot back there? We saw great things from this team where he found DJ Moore and they got their running backs going. Well, I don't know who's playing running back for him this week as they lost, 3 in their last game of their running back. So we'll find out who's playing for them there. But for some reason, I think I just couldn't do it. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to find a way to pull this game off with the big play from one of their young wide receivers. So I think I'm still going. I'm still rocking with Minnesota, but I think this is going to be a very exciting game.
Mike, who are you picking?
I'm putting a lot of faith in the Bears here. I shouldn't. I should stop putting faith in the Bears. It's not been working out for me, but I'm just taking them because the Vikings are down Justin Jefferson. That's a huge question mark. I believe in Jordan Addison. I believe in KJ Osborne, but can they produce in the level of Justin Jefferson, a guy who has 1/3 of this offense, the offense's production as a whole? I don't know. It's such a massive loss that I don't think I'm going to believe in the Vikings offense to do what they have done without him until I see it or even see half of it.
Yeah, I came to a similar conclusion to Joe. I flipped back and forth about who I was picking, and I settled in on the Vikings. For a similar thing, I'm not sure that Justin Fields does take advantage of the opportunity to use his legs in this game. I'm also not sure that the Bears don't do the smart thing and just run Foreman, like bring him in healthy. He was a healthy scratch. Just let this guy go to work and have one of those games like he had for the Panthers where he ends up with 130 yards and a touchdown or two. On the other side, there's a great opportunity to get Cam Akers and Matson rolling in this football game. And I think that's kind of the you're talking about being without Jefferson. So like, what could you do? You could really focus in on getting the run game going and having the play action open things up for a really good route runner in Addison and a guy who can stretch the field in Osborne, and then somebody who's really good in zone stuff like TJ Hawkinson. So I settled on the Vikings winning this game in crazy fashion. I think this should be another fun game to watch. Lots of points scored in a 30-27 Vikings win.
Here we go. I am on the Bears again, so wish me luck. Here we go.
I don't wish you luck.
Saints are going on the road to Houston, and this one's in my fun matchups because I feel like it's a story of opposite teams. The Saints are a super experienced team, lots of veterans, lots of leadership. The Texans are the super young team, lots of electric rookies, breakout players, but both teams are playing pretty decent. The Saints defense obviously has been kind of holding them in a bunch of games, and they've been able to pull out more than they have lost. The Texans, their offense has been keeping them in a bunch of games, and their defense has been a little bit better than we expected as well. Joe, you got Derek Carr taking on kind of your underdog team this year, which you've been kind of correct on so far. What's your thoughts on this one?
I don't know. I'm high. I like Houston. I do like what Houston's doing. I told you guys they're going to be a very competitive team. I hate how everybody is trying to jinx CJ Stroud out there. Like, CJ Stroud hasn't thrown an interception in his first 180 passes this year. He hasn't thrown one yet. Still hasn't thrown one yet. But this week, I think he throws 2. This week, I think he throws 2 interceptions. And the Saints defense is not a pushover defense. They're going to come in there. They're going to make some big plays. CJ Stroud's going to find out what the NFL is all about this week. And I think the Saints defense holds them up. I don't know about what the offense does. I would like to see a little bit more from Chris Olave from the Saints offense, just in my opinion. But I think the Saints win this one easily. It could be a fun matchup, but I'm not calling it a fun matchup.
Yeah, I don't think this game is actually very fun at all. And one of the things that the Falcons had success with last week was being able to get a little bit of pressure and stop the run with just 4. And I think that the Saints can do that better. And they'll be able to stop the run even better because they still have Demario Davis, who's great at cleaning up any misses on that second level. The Texans can't get the running game going. Like, it doesn't matter how good Dameon Pierce is. I did see that the Texans have gotten back a few of their offensive linemen. Maybe Slowick has an opportunity to design some better stuff now with Tunzel back in there and hopefully being healthy. But I just feel like this defense is going, like Joe said, to get an interception or two and be able to get some more pressure and have some more confusing looks. Having a veteran like Honey Badger in the secondary makes things tougher, where if it's like he sits on a read too long or he's staring down a receiver too many times in a row, Matthew's going to be like, oh, I'm going, I'm going wild man on this one. I'm going off the reservation, getting an interception.
I'm with you both 100% for similar reasons. The only concerns I have is that this game and the matchups and when I was looking at it reminds me a ton of that Steelers game. But the Steelers don't have what the Saints have on offense when it comes to having, Alvin Kamara, who's going to be a proven guy that Derek Carr can lean on. Derek Carr, it's a big deal right there. It's not Kenny Pickett in the pocket. And then out wide, they have guys like Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. Like the Saints shouldn't have much problems in this game moving the ball. And they should be able to slow the Texans down defensively as well. But anything can happen in the NFL. And the Texans have been a team that shows up. I'll tell you that much.
Didn't the Honey Badger just have a pick 6 last week?
He had a pick 6 last week, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's washed. He might not be the same player he was 5-6 years ago. But this idea that guys are just washed when they're done, I don't know. I'm still watching a lot of these guys that are still playing at a super high level. Like you watch Levante David play middle linebacker for the Bucs. If this team falls off, there's a couple of teams where I think that they should make a call and go get that guy to help them make a playoff run.
I was waiting for Tony to say, that's cap. That's cap. I was waiting for Tony to say.
Because I use all that lingo.
Khalil Mack.
You're washed,
right?
You're washed, Tony.
Right, Joe? Khalil Mack's washed?
Well, Khalil Mack can only play good against the Raiders, but yeah, that's cool.
Raider Aaron? Any other Raiders fans out there? We got to watch Khalil Mack.
The week before that game, I sent in a Chargers text chain with Mike and Instant Replay. I said that Khalil Mack is still playing high-level football, and the next week he comes out and has 6 sacks. Complete validation of everything I was watching. Loved it.
So they said that somebody won the lottery last night. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was like $1.7 billion for the Powerball. They said somebody won it, and they were a Bronco fan. So you went from bad to having a bad season to a great season.
But that's the thing is that still won't make your team any better for the next decade.
They said they're going to waste all the lotto money on watching the Broncos. Poor people.
Maybe they can do something where they do a buyout to get rid of Russell Wilson and they allow the team to not have to be in cap hell for whatever.
Well, we missed out, Tony, because the winning lottery ticket was about a half an hour from your house and about an hour from my house. Sold.
Yeah, I don't. But I already hit the lottery. I hit the lottery with the family that I've been blessed with. It's not going to get much better for me. Money's not going to make my life any better.
Well, I thought you hit the lotto when you met me and Mike, but okay.
I mean, that was like a scratcher. That was like a $10. It wasn't like a big ticket, but I was happy about it. I'll take that.
Like the little dollar scratcher, you won your money back. You're like, cool, all right. You got another free ticket?
No, not a free ticket. It was like, it was like hitting the scratcher for like $5K. I'm happy about it. I'm partying, celebrating.
Mike's not.
You guys done? Done?
Oh yeah,
Mike,
I forgot.
Is lottery old people talk, Mike? Is that what it is? Lottery's old people talk?
Look at this. Brian Garcia is over here laughing. I don't know if it's about what we were talking about, but he's laughing.
You guys went on a little side rant there. Went back and forth for like a good 60 seconds. All right, back on track.
Next we're going to talk about bingo, Mike. Next week we're going to talk about bingo, so be ready.
Oh, not bingo. Please, not bingo. Then the next week's be knitting, and then before you know it, we're just going to be full-blown elderly here on this show. Anyways.
I don't know. What's the other game that old people play, Tony? Keno?
Yeah, they play Keno. I play cribbage, euchre. I play all of them.
I don't even know the rules to any of those games. To any of them.
Here's the rule you need to know. The Ravens went to London early, and they're ready to start catching footballs.
I didn't even know this game was in London.
Yeah.
It's somewhere over there, somewhere overseas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so the Ravens are already there. The Titans are leaving today after practice. And I was watching the McAfee show, and they were talking about the Ravens, and the Ravens are saying how much they love it over there, and they feel like celebrities. And Harbaugh said he feels like the coach off that one hit show. I can't remember the soccer show that everybody watched. You remember what I'm talking about, Tony? I don't care.
Yeah, the
But
Apple TV show with Jason Sudeikis. I've never seen it, but I've heard it.
yeah, that one.
They said the Ravens are just like enjoying their time over there and they feel uncomfortable and they're ready to go. So they're saying that it's like a competitive advantage, but I'm not buying into it.
Oh, Germany. Okay.
I think that. So I read somewhere or heard somewhere that John Harbaugh has been obsessed with the Ted Lasso. Thank you, Damien. You know how it is this old age. I got to take ginkgo biloba and get this memory going. John Harbaugh's obsessed about the last time that they went over to London and they just got whipped. And so he's still mad. So they went in with like all this research and a plan and keeping everybody focused in there. I also just think that the Ravens have to realize that they should be 5-0 and that they have to just get things buttoned up, right? Like, you can't have Nelson Aguilar dropping wide open passes like that. You can't have Zay Flowers, who seems to always be able to get open. Fantastic. It's almost like somebody should have drafted him at 21. Zay Flowers is wide open, but the part you got to finish is the catch. Like, we don't need you worried about the yak. Get the catch, and then you could do all the amazing, dazzling stuff there. The Titans... The on the other side of this, it's like the secondary has issues where there's going to be a chance for the Ravens to make up for all the mistakes that they've been having. And I think this is a week where they could do it. That could make this game fun to watch.
I'm with you 100%, Tony. They should be undefeated because that Colts game they gave away as well. And last week, freaking Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, and Nelson Aguilar all had game-losing drops. All individually had a game-losing drop that could have been a touchdown to win it. And you put them together, and it's 5 game-losing drops. Lamar can't do much more than what he did last week. They should have won like 31-10 or 31-13 or something like that. And it just it did not work out for them. So they got to button it up, like you're saying. And if they can't, if it's just a drop problem, let's go get a different weapon. I mean, at a certain point, you got to stop playing games with this team and actually try and make a push and go all in because Lamar Jackson ain't going to be able to play like this forever. It ain't going to happen forever. And Joe, I think you picked the Titans, didn't you?
Well, back in the day, they used to put stickum on their hands. That's what John Madden used to say, right? They used to be able to do that. Look, I watched that game, that Baltimore Steelers game last week. Horrible game. What the hell? Baltimore was like, here, just take it, Steelers. Take it, Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh was like, no, I don't want it. And then finally Pittsburgh was like, fine, we'll take it. TJ Watt took over the game and did it. It seems like Baltimore plays down to their opponent. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I'm getting it. Like, so, and for some reason, they find ways to lose the game towards the end of it. They should win most of these games. Like Tony said, they probably could be undefeated right now. And I'm not doing it. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. I don't know why the fuck I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. There's no reason for me to take the Tennessee Titans, but I just think that Baltimore will find some way to fuck up towards the end of the game and lose this game. So I'm taking the Titans to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Didn't you guys take the Titans last week?
No, I took the Bengals last week.
No, that wasn't the Bengals. Bengals Titans wasn't last week.
Oh, they lost to the Bengals. The Bengals lost to the Titans.
Yeah, I took the Titans in that one and got a game. That's why I'm in first place. But I think
the Titans play again?
Who did they play? I forgot.
I don't know.
I can't remember that part. That was so long ago. I could look it up.
It was more than a couple days ago. So.
I have the Ultranet, but
it was the Colts. No, I took the Colts last week, Tony.
Okay, so you were on the right side again with me. That's why you're only a game back. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Titans where like they're really close to being kind of classic Mike Vrabel Titans, but they just don't have enough health on their side, like on the defensive side of the football. It was nice to see DeAndre Hopkins getting the opportunity to have vintage catches down the sideline. But I just don't see how the Titans, what the recipe is for them to win the game. Because Derrick Henry is just he's not as explosive as Tajay Spears. Like Tajay Spears should be getting as many touches as Derrick Henry at this point.
This rivalry gets another chapter also because I don't know if you guys know, there's been a couple playoff games, a couple regular season games where these two have been heated, fighting on the field, dancing on each other's logos, all kinds of stuff. And now they're going to Germany? They're taking this chaos to Germany. It's good. It's gonna be fun to watch. That's why I have it in this category.
Wait, this game's in Germany or London? What's happening?
Germany. Germany is where the game is being played. It's not London. So correction on the earlier statement about London. I think it's Germany. If I'm wrong again, then we're just gonna have to live with that. If it's in Mexico City, then it's in Mexico City. If it's in
I'm
Japan,
pretty sure London.
They got football in Japan. Go play in Japan.
I trust Kyle Cundiff. Kyle Cundiff has been coming with the facts. He's got the bathroom selfie. Like, this guy knows what time it is. Okay.
It's being played on planet Earth. Okay?
Who cares
Somewhere
what's
else.
being played? Ravens.
Other than Tennessee, other than Baltimore. All right. The chat cannot wait freaking 2 more seconds. I mean, the whole entire show, and even up until this last game, all they want to talk about is the fucking Raiders. But they don't even want to go to the Raiders games. They just want to talk about them on the internet when they win. But when they lose, they just go and hide, just like the Cowboys fans that Joe was complaining about earlier in the show. Joe, go ahead and go first. Tell them why the Raiders are going to win this game.
Well, one, this is how fucking old I am, and Tony's old. This is how old we are. We got to see the Patriots dynasty kick off, and now we're old enough to see the walls fall down and the empire break down. The Patriots have got blown out the last 2 weeks, 72-3. And now they're coming in playing the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders' offense is struggling, but there's good signs of it. The Raiders actually have a defense this year, right? I told you about it in the offseason, Tony. I told you the Raider defense was going to be better, was going to be good, and you were like, no, they're not. The Raider defense is going to be the Raiders defense. Who would have thought the Broncos would have the worst defense in the AFC West, right? But anyways, look at this hat right here. Make the Raiders great again. And that's what's going to happen this week when Josh McDaniels goes against Bill Belichick and beats him down. This is going to be an easy game for the Raiders. Jacoby Myers coming over. He's on the right side this time. He's not going to make that mistake at the end of the game like he did last year. Remember that game? You guys remember the Raider-Patriot game last year where Chandler Jones took it to the house, where Chandler Jones was high for that game. Now he's still high, but on the streets, not playing football anymore. I don't know why I went that way, but I did. Yeah. But anyways, I think this game is going to be a good game for the Raiders. Not going to overlook it. The Raiders – Max Crosby should be able to get to Mac Jones. Is this the game that Mac Jones finally gets benched in, Tony? Are they going to go to Bailey Zappi? We don't know. I would think if I'm Bill Belichick, the way I would beat the Raiders is I would give them a heavy dose of Stevenson up the middle. If you want to get to the Raiders, that's how you expose that middle of the defensive line, which a lot of teams don't do and they do it late in games, which is too late. But I think the Raiders win this game, and I think the Raiders win it by double digits. And all you Raider fans out there crying, we don't score 20 points. We don't score 20 points. Well, this week you're going to get your fucking 20 points, all right? Raider fans, cry. Go ahead and cry because you guys cry too damn much. All you got to do is score one more point than the other team, and that makes you get the win. Come on, man.
This is how you know that the Raiders fans are desperate to have a good team. They're calling this defense this amazing, great defense. They're not even good. But go ahead, Tony.
Top 15.
Top 15. What about when they played a decent offense? Are they top 15?
Top 15.
The strongest part of the Raiders is the defense. So that makes them a good defense in some universe of understanding. They are good, and they're better than I thought they would be, Joe. Max Crosby is approaching into that territory where, like, he should be in conversations that we have, with TJ and Miles and Micah. He was phenomenal in that game against the Packers. I really wanted to pick the Patriots, but I couldn't even make it through the Saints-Patriots game because I wanted to go see how Belichick was going to use J.C. Jackson, and I fell asleep at halftime. I watched it late. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when I was watching it. I fell asleep, and I was like, I'm not going to resume this game because I know how it ends, and it's so terrible. I don't need to see all the plays. Like, the Patriots can't block. Great news for Max Crosby in this game, which means then they can't throw the football downfield. Even better news for the Raiders defense. Like, everything adds up. I don't care if the game's in New England or in Las Vegas or wherever they played. Like, Patriots just aren't good. They're not really good at anything. And the Raiders are at least good at some stuff.
Well, throw it down the field. But we have one of the best safeties in the league the last couple of weeks right now in Moig sitting back there. So if you want to throw it down the field, go ahead.
He's playing with like a foot cast on his hand. That thing is massive.
All these Raiders fans are in the chat talking. Didn't we hold the Chargers to 0 points? No, we scored 24 points. But he said in the second half, well, how did the game end, Brian? 3rd and 11. This Raiders defense that you guys are bragging about gets absolutely cooked for 55 yards up the sideline. What are you talking about?
Mike, you always pull the referee bullshit. You want to pull that referee?
I'm not done. You guys stop the Chargers.
And pull the Josh Palmer game at the end of the game, that one, and talk about it. But what they're talking about is how the Charger game is what kickstarted the Raider defense going, hey, fuck it, we got to win some of these games for us. That second half of the Charger game, you saw a difference in the Raider defense that carried over into last week, which should carry over into this week. That's what they're talking about. They held the Chargers to 3 first downs in that second half.
They committed a pass interference penalty on Justin Herbert's only interception the entire fucking season as well, and you don't want to talk about that one.
Well, a penalty won the game for the Raiders.
Let me go. And then when this Raiders defense played another decent offense, what happened? The Buffalo Bills game.
Mike,
Smoke City. The Raiders defense is not good. The Raiders defense is not good. The Patriots are not good either. I'm not saying that the Patriots are that much better. This is going to be a very low-scoring game, but whose defense do I trust to make a game-winning play? The Patriots. Whose special teams do I trust to make a game-winning play? The Patriots. And it's going to be a close game, down to the wire. We're going to see a punt return, a pick six, a blocked punt, something like that's coming, blocked field goal, something like that's coming. And the Raiders fans are all going to be sad once again.
This
crying
is
their way home.
Mike, that's
Mike,
this
is not in defense.
I am undefeated in Raiders picks. What's your record in Raiders picks this year, Joe?
Undefeated.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I pick the Raiders every week.
Stay off the weed, even though you're perfect on Raiders games.
Whoever sold you that shit, Mike, give him my number because you're on some good fucking shit right now.
Okay, hang on a second. This is no defense of the Raiders whatsoever, but part of the thing that is I can't comprehend the Patriots is the special teams are terrible, Mike. Like that's they've always been so good at that, and now they're just absolutely it's not good. There's nothing good about it.
They do lead the league in punting efficiency.
The crystal ball is undefeated this year, Mike. The crystal ball is undefeated.
That's just a fake fucking white ball. That is not a crystal ball.
Oh no! Don't you ever disrespect?
Yeah, I said it.
Don't ever disrespect it.
I said it. I'll rock bottom the shit out of that crystal ball.
Raiders 27, Patriots 10.
Is that one of those ones where they do the hand magic?
Here's what makes this fun and why it should be in the fun category is whatever team loses is the sky is going to fall down because Raiders fans will annihilate Joe on TikTok for having some optimism about his team as if that's a horrible thing to have all of a sudden. And then if the Patriots get blown out or even lose again, then the conversation is going to get hyped. All of the sideline shots of the student is putting the master out to pasture. There'll be that commentation from the game where it's like it's time for Belichick to maybe go away. So that's what makes it fun.
This is gonna be Belichick's claiming Josh McDaniels back game.
Well, look, I made a post yesterday where I kind of backed McDaniels. Well, I did back McDaniels, right? I said I don't want to change coaches, and all Raider fans have attacked me all since then, saying I need to delete my account if the Raiders lose to the Patriots. So I guess I'm all in on this game, Tony. I guess my Raider fandom is on the line in this game is what people are saying. But you're right, Tony. Like Raider fans, I can't win with Raider fans. I try to be optimistic. I try to be positive about the team, and they try to drag me down with them because they're realistic fans out there saying our team sucks. But when the Raiders win this week and they go 3-3, and now what? Then you're going to be like, oh, shit, now we're looking okay. Now we're in a good position. Like, come on, man.
By definition, being a realistic fan is just boring. It's just not. Like,
That's true.
It's fanatical. You're supposed to believe that your team could win games. At a certain point in the season, sure, it's fine to start looking ahead and talking about draft picks and what we should do and getting playing time for young guys. But early on in the season, at least the first 9 weeks of the season, you should be overly optimistic about what your team could be doing to win games. Like, I just don't understand why it's so cool to be negative and like, we should be firing everybody. Yeah, go ahead. I hope that the Raiders fire McDaniels and you guys start this hamster wheel
all over again. Yeah.
But I'm with the Raiders fans. I'm on the Raiders fans side in this topic. I want Joe to leave the Raider Nation. That would be great.
You know what? Here's my bold take. And just to piss off some of these Raider fans that are pissing me off right now because they're already calling him a bust. Tyree Wilson gets his first sack this weekend.
I definitely see that. I think multiple sacks, a forced fumble.
I thought he did play really good against Green Bay. And a lot of Raider fans are in my comments saying Tyree Wilson's a bust already. Like, God damn, dude. Like, God dang.
He's going to get his first half sack. Yeah, let's keep this.
I got 7 minutes left.
Well, we got to talk about the Seattle Bengals game. So, Tony, I'll let you go first on this one. What's your thoughts on this one? This is an interesting matchup. I personally do not believe in the Bengals turning it around like that. I feel like a lot of that was off the backs of one player that wears number 1. And Pete Carroll's not going to be able to stop him, but he's definitely not going to let him go for 18 fucking catches.
Yeah. I do think that's the case too, that they will figure out a way to stop that. It opens up opportunities for Tyler Boyd, and hopefully T. Higgins can be healthy and out there. I really need him to have a big game to beat Joe in fantasy football in the Dynasty League this weekend. But I'm picking the Seahawks in this game because what I saw from the Bengals was them taking advantage of a Cardinals team that wasn't ready. Like, if the Cardinals if they were better and Kyler was out there, like I said, when I was talking about the Cardinals before, if you're up 14-10, 7 minutes and a half, they should have been running the ball, long drive. They're also getting the ball out in the second half. It still was like 20-24 in the third quarter, and the Bengals are struggling to put them away. The Bengals can't stop the run, and they can't run the football. And Pete Carroll is going to run the football with Charbonnet and Walker, and I think that's going to allow for them to get the ball deep downfield to a secondary that I also think struggles with Metcalf and Lockett. And maybe we even get to see a little Jackson Smith and Jigba action this weekend. So I'm going to take the Seahawks in a game where I think they can maybe win by a touchdown or more.
That's what I love about the Seahawks. And similarly to last year, we obviously expect them to be a little bit better. They had some additions, expected the defense to be a little bit better. But like you're saying, Tony, I feel like they just had what they need for every situation they've been in. They have what they need to pick up third and longs. They have what they need to pick up short yardage. They have what they need on defense to cover teams with a lot of receivers. The rush defense is the one eyesore, but it just feels like every game, the Seahawks, since that first game against the Rams, they've had what they needed in the spots they've needed it to have a really effective football team. Great coaching. You got to give some credit there. I'm going with the Seahawks as well, Tony. Joe, who are you picking in this one?
Yeah, I think I'm with you too. I think we overreacted when the Seahawks lost week 1 against the Rams, and everybody was like, "Oh crap!" Now you've seen the improvement, and we got to remember the Seahawks do this every year, where they get better as the season goes on. And their defense looked great last week, or actually the last couple of weeks, where they've been making these turnovers, these big turnovers when they need them to win some of these games. And I'm not believing what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase did last week. Like, come on, there's no way they're going to continue that. I wish the Seattle defensive line was just a little bit better. Yes, I do. But I'm taking Seattle to win this game as well.
Ooh, all three of us on the same side, not working out for us this year, guys.
That's true. I think I might have had a typo on this. So, Joe, you're rocking with Seattle. I think I might have typoed this and put Cincy, but I will see when I do the reveal here in a couple minutes. Indianapolis in Jacksonville. This is an interesting game because the Colts kind of always play Jacksonville tough. It's a divisional matchup. I know Jacksonville, as of late in the last couple of years, have kind of owned the Colts. But the Colts seem like a team that has great vibes behind them in that locker room, behind Shane Steichen. They've been competing, even with their backup quarterback, in spots. Joe, any hope for the Colts to get, I'll call it an upset on the Jaguars here?
There's a little hope. Just because these two teams have always played each other tough. And don't the Colts own like a big streak, winning streak in Jacksonville, something like that? But
yeah,
I think this is a different Jacksonville team. I think they're learning how to win and win correctly. It might be a close game, but I'm rocking with Jacksonville this weekend.
I went back and forth like crazy on this game, and I had the Colts all the way up until I sent the picks to Mike, and I went with Jacksonville because at a certain point, I just have to believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to figure out how to get to win this kind of a game, and you have to be that much better than Gardner Minshew. Like if Gardner has a good game against your defense and he throws for 250 and 2 touchdowns, well, then you gotta throw for 290 and 3 scores, and you just have to figure out some way at home to get this game and be ahead in the division. Like this is such a massive game because if the Jaguars lose this game, a few weeks ago I texted you guys when I was watching the Colts, and I was like, the Colts are going to win this division, and that was when Anthony Richardson finally made it healthy through one game. Like getting back Jonathan Taylor, like if the Colts win this game, I think that it's just bad news for the Jaguars. Just shit. Like anyways, moving on.
I mean, even with their win against the Bills in London, I still don't have like supreme confidence in them in this game like I should. And I came into the year as high on the Jaguars anyway. I thought because of their division, because of their schedule, they were just going to rack up a shit ton of wins and be a team that's competing for the AFC 1 seed at the end of the season. But it's not looking like they're as dominant over their division as I thought they would be. Raider Aaron wants to come on the show. I'm just letting you know, Raider Aaron, yes, we do have guests on the show, and there's a long, long list of names I'd bring on before you, buddy.
We can do that. Raiders
Love to hate.
He is literally one of my biggest haters of all time. Don't start with me.
I think he adds a lot to the chat. I like it when he comes through.
I'm gonna give him your personal phone number, Mike.
Zaire Franklin for the linebacker for the Colts is playing really, really tremendous football, and he could be a difference maker for the Colts in this one. I think it's a really close game.
Yeah, I think it could be a close game as well.
I know they mentioned how come we're not talking to. It's hard to do our picks and our things while we're not talking to the chat. If you guys are starting and sit them, really, we do those on Saturday and Sunday. So, guys, if you want to join us on those, we try to answer some of these after we get to this last pick. I know Tony has to go, so we'll try to get to you guys in just a few minutes.
Also, grab NFLMike's fantasy draft cheat sheet. It has his email on the last page. We can send all questions. Just a little plug. Last game, Mike's game of the week. My game of the week, just because these two teams are playing really good, and I think it's a really good matchup for an exciting game. Now, Mike Evans' status is up in the air. Someone please help me out with an update on Mike Evans today. I have not seen the news on whether or not he is practicing or what his situation is. I don't think he's going to play in this game, which is key for me in having more confidence in my Lions pick. Spoiler, I'm taking the Lions. But, Tony, I'll let you go first because you have to dip. Lions, Bucks, what's your takes on this game? Because I think it's going to be a pretty fun one to watch. Not a chess match, but kind of like a strategic battle between the two teams.
Yeah, I had to start Baker Mayfield against Joe, too, in that fantasy leagues, but I'm still taking the Lions. What the Lions are doing is fantastic. One of the stats, we were going to do a video on the Lions this week. Part of why we thought David Montgomery was like not very good or just sort of an average player had more to do with the Bears offensive line than it did. And so like he's getting 3.1 yards before he's getting contacted in this. Now that's probably a little tougher against this Bucks defensive line and just defense overall, but I still think they'll be able to run the ball enough and then be able to work in play action. And if they can get Amon-Ra back on the field this week, Josh Reynolds is stepping up in a big spot, and Sam Laporta looks like the tight end that maybe should have been a first-round pick from this draft class. So I'm going to go with them. I think their defensive line is really able to get pressure. I would love to see a player like Aleem McNeil carry out this kind of play for a full season. That would be amazing for the Lions. On the Bucs side, Baker, just stay within the rhythm of the offense, and they'll be able to keep the game close. But again, this is a fun one. I'm glad you put it in must-see. Again, this will be at the top of games I watch Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's just kind of like a weird thing I'm on with the Lions here. I went from expecting a letdown to too worried to pick them because of a letdown to now picking them still scared of a letdown. It just feels like it could be a game with the Bucs defense. And if they're out Amon-Ra St. Brown, like I'm seeing in the chat here, could be a letdown, but we'll see. I'm taking Lions. I'm having some confidence that it's not the same old Lions as previous years.
Flash
Joe,
these picks so I can see before, because I gotta go.
Who you got in this one?
I'm taking the Buccaneers in this one. I have a feeling that they're gonna upset the Lions. So I got the Buccaneers winning this game. I know that both teams have injuries, and Mike Evans did not practice today, Mike. But the big day is tomorrow. You got to remember, guys. A lot of people sit out Wednesday and Thursday practices. It's the Friday practices that we got to see where the players are at. That's if they're sit out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're done. They're not playing that week.
This is a massive week for me, Tony. I don't know if we're looking at this and seeing this.
That's what I wanted to see was, so I send my picks to Mike, then Mike copies them, and then he takes the two games that could go either way and picks the opposite team. This is why
I did not copy them, first of all.
And I can't complain because he does all the hard work because I'm not putting together graphics like this. So Mike can do whatever he wants. I'm just saying there's a little collusion, a little cheating going on, and that's why I never win. But everybody have a great, safe week. And remember, it's positive tweet X, whatever you want to call it, Thursday. Reach out to somebody in the NFL and send something positive to them. Just say like, hey, great block.
Get on Twitter real quick. Get on Twitter real quick, everybody. Send a tweet out to Devontae Adams and be like, I know they only gave you 4 targets against your old team. I'm sure it'll be better this week.
Yes,
Tony,
fantastic. Visor
before you go, Tony, I would just like to say one thing. I'm changing my pick. I'm going with the Denver Broncos tonight. Denver Broncos beat the Chiefs tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm always happy to get a win in that one. I'm almost tempted to change to the Patriots now and pick up a couple games on you. I'm not going to,
Tony. Why don't you do it?
No. Raiders are going to win. The Patriots are bad. They're just bad at everything.
Let's go, Pats. Let's go, Pats.
See you guys Sunday.
Tony Tucker, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, Tony. Get out of here already.
I'll say, yeah, like Jesus.
Like, geez, dude, why does it stick around so damn long? It's
right?
Just take off, Tony.
Just get out of here.
We already spent an hour and 15 minutes with you.
We get it, Tony. You're in first. You can stop saying it. Jesus.
How could Mike not pick the Raiders over the Patriots? It's easy because Mike is a Raider hater. And no matter what, the Raiders can go undefeated and Mike will still pick against them. It doesn't matter.
Okay, what happened last week when I picked the Raiders to win, Joe? What just happened?
They won.
I fixed the layout. I didn't do anything. So I picked the Raiders last week, and they won. I picked the Raiders week 1, and they won. I picked against them all the other weeks, and they lost. How can I be a Raider hater that's 100% on the Raiders when they won and lost?
You're a Raider. Hey,
I'm not gonna claim for that statement to be false, but I claim for your reasoning on that statement to be false. Okay.
Zero. You are 100% correct. The football season always goes by too fast. Like we go, it's 18 weeks plus playoffs, but damn, it goes by too quick. But this is also my favorite time of the season. It's starting to get cold outside. This is when we're going to see some real good football games. When the weather starts affecting these, it's going to get different. So I'm excited. I love this time of the year.
You want to do a little Q&A with the chat real quick?
We got about 5 minutes. Yeah, let's go.
All right, we got 5 minutes left. If you're on TikTok, come to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, leave any questions that you guys had in the chat, and we'll answer them rapid fire and get them all out of the way. But yeah, also help us out. Wish us a happy holidays by liking the video, liking the stream, sharing our content and our podcast with some friends. We're trying to up our podcast game a little bit this year. I don't know if you guys noticed. So help us get some more eyeballs on it. It's going to be a ton of fun the rest of the way. Raider Aronson, I hope they tied. You talking about Cowboys Chargers or Broncos Chiefs?
I think he's talking about tonight. I don't know why I'm switching to the Broncos. I'm stupid for doing it, but why not? Why not make it more interesting, Mike? What if I could pull that one little win tonight?
If you do, more power to you, because I'll be happy if the Broncos win. I'll take a loss in the picks and being tied with you over wanting to see KC win any game.
Yeah, and you guys can remember you guys can pick against us in the splash competition with Mike, and you could actually win money.
Link in the description. Yeah, we're trying to fill that thing up, so that would help out a ton as well. All right, doesn't look like we have very many questions, Joe.
So yeah, Kyle, you're 100% correct. Anything can happen on Thursday Night Football. It's weird. Like Thursday Night Football throws a lot of stuff up, and that's why we're not big on Thursday Night Football. We'd rather have the extra Monday night or even a Tuesday night. But yeah, anything can happen.
I don't think. Do I need to give you the birds and the bees talk here, Brian, on how that shit works?
Yeah,
you know how it works, right, buddy? Yeah. What do you need me to do? Give you a demonstration? I think you know, my guy. I think you know.
Yeah, you have to go to Mike's OnlyFans to get
to get those answers. Oh my god. There we go, Keegan. Let's go, Keegan. Tell him. Last year, this year, Steelers own the Raiders.
Yeah, we need haters. They hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah. That's it. Yes. This is the last chance for questions, Drixie Fishke.
Mike, I don't know. I try to be positive. Like it's Raider Aaron. I try to be very positive with the Raiders, and I told Mike at the beginning of the season that I was going to try to be positive. And man, it's hard to be a Raider content creator. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's very hard with because you have. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I have my own opinion. I don't expect you to think the same way as I do. But damn, if you have an opinion that doesn't fit somebody else's, God, then they try to rip into you and take you down hard.
Yeah, why don't you guys just try being friends like the Chargers fans? Chargers fans are friends with all Chargers fans at all times. There's no rivalries. There's no beef.
Rachaad White or Nico Collins or Sutton or Henry or AZ, the new running back, or Arizona's new running back. Is Nico Collins 100%?
I think I will put Nico, even if he's a little banged up.
Yeah,
unless it's serious injury. Brian, rewinding the show, we did a whole talk about this earlier. Who's the offensive rookie of the year right now, Joe?
CJ Stroud.
I'm with you. CJ Stroud's my pick too.
As of right now, yeah.
Because of the immaculate reception, and all the other times too.
It was a bullshit catch. It wasn't even a catch.
Did you think that in the moment when it happened?
Without
Mike, I wouldn't be famous. You ain't famous on TikTok, bro.
He's famous.
No, he's not.
Famous.
He's only famous
without Mike. I wouldn't be famous either. So I'm cool too. So
famous as a troll. That's what you're famous as, Raider Aaron. Joe, why do we get the most shit from our own fans? Like, damn, negative AF. Yeah, they don't even go to the game. They're fair weather fans. That's why, Brian, when the Raiders are doing great, they're the biggest Raiders fans in the world. Week 18, go watch the crowd. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Raiders. The playoffs on the line. That stadium is just filled to the gills with Raiders fans losing their minds, and then flash forward to the last week or the week before.
I don't want to bash my own fan base, but a lot of them just read the box score, and I can tell they do just off of some of the stuff they tell me in the comments. And it's not that like everybody has their opinion, like I said, and you root for the team different than somebody else. But I mean, it just we just have a lot of people that I don't know. I hate negative fans like. Why root for your team if you like? I told you already. I will pick the Raiders every week, almost every game this week, unless something like really terribly goes wrong, and everybody's hurt, and then I'll be different. But Mike, you've known me for years. I've never switched.
You probably would have like blown us out in some years in this competition if you just pick against the Raiders. That's all you needed to do. Yeah. Kyle here is saying who loses their job first, Dak or McCarthy? I would say that Dak will lose his job before McCarthy just because McCarthy's in charge of Dak's job.
Yeah, but Trey Lance isn't the answer either. Like people are
going. No, they would go to Cooper Rush. That's who they probably would go to.
TJ Watt, defensive player of the year, yes, as of right now.
Right now, yes, he's in the MVP race in my opinion. Right now,
I mean, dude has 8 sacks on the season right now. 8 fucking sacks.
Yeah. Who does T. Higgins play for next year? I think it'll be the Carolina Panthers.
Jalen Carter deserves defensive rookie of the year. I think he'll be in there. Yeah, I think he'll be up there.
Devon Witherspoon too. It'd be funny if we beat the Cowboys. I'll be happy if we beat the Cowboys. Trust me. Most fake fans are Niner fans, Cowboys, and Raiders. I agree with that to an extent, Brian.
But they're also the most. It's funny because there's a lot of fake fans in there, but there are also a lot of loyal fans in those fan bases.
They got a lot of quantity. When you have a lot of quantity, it's obviously gonna create some fake fans. Do I think QJ is finally going to get a game going against Cowboys? Not like a crazy game, but I think that they're definitely going to try and target him down the field. He was getting open in the last one, Alex. That's why I always get banned. Yeah, because he trolled too much, Raider Aaron. I remember, trust me. Before you and I started talking here on YouTube, he used to be in a lot of my chats, and it would just be like a new account, like Raider Aaron 005, Raider Aaron 189. It's like, bro, how many accounts do you have?
Kyle, they actually do pay rent, but they pay $1 a year.
Exactly. Like every team almost. But
It's something like that, right, Mike? It's like $1.
it's $1 a year because they paid it all up front when they helped build the stadium.
We think Tony and me, at least, I don't know about Mike, but we think Kirk Cousins should be traded, and one team that should be calling him is the New York Jets.
Yeah, he should be traded, but that's the thing that sucks for the Vikings is there's not a lot of landing spots of teams that feel like they can compete if they get Kirk Cousins in here for 1 year. Now, what I would keep an eye out on is a team that's looking to bring Kirk Cousins in and sign an extension and keep him for years to come.
Yeah.
We'll see what team that could be. I think that the Vikings will hold on to him close to the deadline and wait and see if there's another key injury to somebody. Raiders.
All right, we got to end this, Mike.
All right, let's get out of here. Aiden O'Connell in his first start. I saw him get sacked a lot. Yeah, trade some defense and get Caleb. That would be good for the Vikings, I think, as well. But locking in that you're going to get Caleb Williams is not easy, but lock in that you'll get a top 10 pick and get one of these quarterbacks. There's a bunch of good quarterbacks coming out of next year's draft. Will be good for the Vikings. All right, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Please help us out by liking the video. It helps out the algorithm a lot. They send it out to more fans after the live ends and sharing it with more people. That helps out as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. If you're on TikTok, subscribe to the MJT Football YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so that way you can be here next time we go live, which will be Sunday morning. Answering all your fantasy starts, all your fantasy sits, and just talking football in general that day. It's going to be a fun show. So I'll see you guys there. Joe, anything else before we go?
That's it.
No chance, nothing?
No, that's it.
All right. See you guys.